Welcome to the B Movie Club. I'm your host, Kevin. This will be discussing the 1986 horror classic, Invaders from Mars, starring Karen Black, Lorraine Newman. It's an all-star cast. The list goes on and on. For those who join us for the first time, each week on the B Movie Club, I discuss certain guilty pleasures and forgotten classics of the past. You can go ahead and go to our page on Facebook, Original B Movie Club, and give us the big thumbs up. You can also go to our page on YouTube, KD9575, and hit the subscribe button. It's totally free. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at the B Movie Club. You get all the latest updates. Anytime I post a new video, you'll be the first to hear about it. Okay? Don't forget to spread the word. Let all of our friends and neighbors know about it, please. The more the merrier. Invaders from Mars. Little David Gardner, he's an average elementary school student, looks out the window during a meteor shower and notices a crazy alien ship landing over the hill behind his house. He, tells his folks about it. His dad goes out to investigate at some point in the night, and he comes back acting a little strangely. He gulps down boiling hot coffee after dumping Tic Tacs in it. It's very strange. One by one, more and more adults go visit the far side of the hill, and they come back acting a little strange, kind of cold, aloof. Not great parents, let's just say. Okay, one by one. And David's the only one who can see it. He notices that his elementary school teacher, she's acting strangely.
What are you doing, David?
Kevin. David Gardner, stop!
So he goes and talks to the kindly nurse, Miss Magnuson, tell her what's going on. Eventually, he notices that everyone's out to get him because they know that he knows that something's different. The kindly nurse agrees somehow. He convinces her that, it's all on the level. He goes and investigates the area beyond the hill, finds a hole, a cave, if you will. And inside he finds these big kind of hulking, what he describes as looking like Mr. Potato Head, which they do kind of look like that, just giant Mr. Potato Heads roaming around. And there's also a crazy, just brain creature that evidently controls the giant Mr. Potato Head creatures. And what occurs is that people go and investigate the hill, the adults, the other side of the hill. And they're walking through this big open sandy area, and a sand whirlpool opens up under them and kind of sucks them down. Later we find out that they're basically knocked out by the aliens, and they stick this needle in the back of their necks, and which allow them to be controlled by the Martians. So she, the kindly nurse, and David Gardner, the kindly child, rush off because this is like a NASA community. And there's a military base nearby. They manage to convince the kindly Marine general to help out. I don't want to spoil everything for you. There's a big gunfight, there's lasers, there's spaceships, there's explosions. I don't want to spoil it all for you. It's all right there for you. What can I tell you about this movie? It's based upon a movie called Invaders from Mars from the 50s, and the plot is remarkably similar. The big difference, other than just execution, okay, is that instead of, in the original 1950s movie, the Martians kind of walked around with these big kind of hulking creatures, dark, vaguely humanoid creatures. Where in this one, like I said, they look like giant Mr. Potato Heads. They have little kind of hands up here, but they also have like big stomping legs. It's all very strange. I can't explain it. They got the rights to this movie because they found the director, Tobe Hooper, who was big because he had just done, he had done, obviously, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The original script was written by a man named Dan O'Bannon, who had done Return of the Living Dead, for example. He'd just done Life Force the year before. These are all hits, as far as we're concerned here at the B-Movie Club, okay? So they got this team together. It was produced by Golan and Globus, Cannon Group, who did a lot of those Chuck Norris movies from the 80s. So they thought they had this dream team. They cast it. They brought in renowned scream queen Karen Black to star as the kindly nurse. They put it all together. And I have to tell you, not that scary. Not that good. Other than Karen Black, Lorraine Newman, who the biggest claim to fame was that she was on Saturday Night Live about 6 years earlier. She plays David's mom, who's like very sympathetic, and then she gets the treatment. And now she's like walking around being not very parental, if you will. So there's that. The special effects for this movie were created by Stan Winston, who was working on Aliens, the James Cameron movie, about the same time. So if you look close, the interior of the crazy like alien cave ship has certain elements that kind of look a lot like the alien spaceship, kind of a almost living creature, if you will. For some reason, they only had budget enough to create 2 of the potato head aliens. So you'll notice in one shot you only see 2 of them together at any time. Now they used a lot of clever cutting and trick photography to give it the appearance that they're all over the place, but alas, there was only 2. They had to have 2 puppeteers to be able to control this suit. You had a normal-sized person walking backwards, with what appeared to be kind of like ski poles to control some of the stuff. In addition to that, they also had a little person who was in kind of a backpack harness on the regular person's back. I'm trying to demonstrate this for you. And he'd control like the jaws of the crazy creature. It's all very elaborate. So there's a lot of this good stuff going on with the crazy space aliens. Jimmy Hunt, the actor who played David Gardner in the original 1950s Invaders from Mars, actually plays a prominent role in this one as like the chief of police, or the captain, or whatever he is. He has like 12 lines. They didn't just have him walking around the background, one of those things. So they really tried to pay homage, I guess, to the original. Steven Spielberg was in early talks to direct this movie before he took a look at the script and said, I think I'm going to take a pass on this one. Thanks, but no thanks. Later in the movie, a little bit of a spoiler here, the needle or whatever that they shoved in the back of the people when they controlled them, there's a scene where it like explodes and sparks shoot out. Evidently, I don't know what they were doing there, but the sparks literally singed the hair on the back of the actress in the scene, and she didn't know about it until much later. Like her hair had been burnt. This is the kind of... They're really very concerned about the safety of their actors, as I'm sure you can tell. Good times. The finished product, the producers, Golan and Globus, actually hated it. They thought they were totally misled by Tobe Hooper. What are you going to say? It was a total flop at the box office. Cost about $12 million to make. It made a little over $4 million in its run. It came out at the 7th place at the box office that time. It's not a good movie. It's not scary. It has a lot of scenes that they try to play for laughs, but they're not particularly funny. At no time you're like, oh, I'm on the edge of my seat. What's going to happen next? There's a bizarro ending where it's just like, okay, enough's enough. You know what I'm saying? It was just not a great film, and frankly, it kind of kicked off Tobe Hooper's spiral as to the kind of movies he made from there on out. So, what are you going to do? I do not recommend this movie. This is one of the hard parts of the job, you know what I'm saying? Watching movies that you don't really recommend. It's not horrible. You're not like, oh my god, this is boring. It's just kind of like, okay. It actually has a 27% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. Not a big shocker. You know, it is what it is. C'est la vie. Life goes on. It is still streaming instantly on Netflix if for some bizarre reason you still have any interest in watching it. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Send me any questions, comments, favorite scenes. Good luck. Favorite quotes, and I may talk about it on the show. Next week, moving away from this debacle, we're going to be doing the Arnold Schwarzenegger science fiction action classic, Total Recall. Starring Sharon Stone, Ronnie Cox. It's an all-star cast, literally. It is streaming instantly on Netflix, so rush out and see it. Let me know what you think. And any movie suggestions you might have, please keep them coming. I can just add them to my queue. Whenever you specifically request something, it goes to the top of the list. Whenever it becomes available on Netflix, I'm doing it. Okay, I'm doing it for you. Okay, for the people. So there you have it. Don't forget to go to our page on Facebook, Original B Movie Club, and give us the thumbs up. Don't forget to go to our page on YouTube and subscribe. It's totally free. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at The B Movie Club. As you know, I end every episode with a totally out of context quote. And here it is. Don't worry, son. We Marines have no qualms about killing Martians. So there you have it. Good times. Next week, Total Recall. Thank you for joining us, and be well.